Wigga 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 wagga wugga wuzza on this week's episode of Cartoon Buffoons. I'm Wyatt, and who is here with me today as always?
Hello, I'm Morgan, and I'm the bat with glasses from Sagwa.
Okay. I don't even think I remember that, but, you know, fair enough.
Yeah.
We're
Sagwa shout out.
Yeah, good old Sagwa. Chinese and Siamese. A lot going on with her. But we're not here to talk about Sagwa. We're here to talk about Chowder, baby. We're here. We're at one of those milestone beloved Cartoon Network shows. Even though I remember a time when shows like this, shows like Flapjack, were
annoying and bad.
Yes,
People said they were annoying and bad,
and that it was Adventure Time saved the network because these. I mean, it did. We'll get to that when we get to Adventure Time. But
that is true. But
yeah, but that people were like these suck. You know, fucking Cartoon Network fell off. And now they're considered, of course, ultimate classics. The same thing did not happen for Squirrel Boy or My Japan is a Monkey or Camp Laszlo.
Maybe those were bad. Camp Laszlo. Hold on, I'm sorry, but the other two, maybe they were just shit. You know,
that is entirely possible. We did watch them and didn't enjoy them, so maybe we are right. And they did deserve people making fun of them, but. This show, I am glad, has seen, like, now that we're the ones who are 30 and we grew up with this show and we're making the conversation on the internet, now people have to accept our taste and pretend like we're the ones of authority in the same way that we did to people that are like 40 years old now, 10 years ago. And they would say, like, oh, yeah, the Animaniacs and Batman the Animated Series and whatever, like, those are the greatest cartoons of all time. Like, we would have to just accept that. Be like, sure, yeah, that's true.
Now, Wyatt, I don't know if you know me at all. You know I was definitely telling those people to kill themselves on the internet.
Yeah.
know I was not just blindly agreeing with them. Every time I see, like, I remember being 20, and whenever I saw someone go like this, Cartoon Network used to be peak, what happened to it? And they would post, like, a clip from Flapjack or this. I remember my fingers would go to the K, Y, and S keys so quickly. I would just go like, oh, hold on, I have a message for you.
Yeah. Oh, on that note, like, well, it's crazy to think about this, because this is probably a show that's going to get reevaluated for sure, but while Clarence was airing, it was very much the same. I remember a lot of people being like, how could anybody like this garbage? And it's like, did you watch it at all? Like, just watch one episode of it and you'll be like, yeah, I got it.
Clarence is the most feels like a 2003 classic cartoon on Earth too. So like I'm like, you guys are just lying. Like you're not watching it. You just want to post shit on Facebook. I hope one day you get hit with a rock from space and it burrows into your brain.
Yeah, that would be great. And it doesn't do anything cool. It doesn't give you any powers. You don't get infected by an alien parasite. It just shoots through the front of your skull.
Actually. No, you get treated like the guy that got the telephone pole, the light pole through his face.
Yeah.
And it just changes your personality for the worse and it ruins your life. That's what I want the meteor to do. I want it to disrupt a part of your brain and make you a worse person.
Yeah. That's fucked up that can happen, right? Like
it's crazy that you can just take something to the head and your brain's like, I'm evil now. Like, whoa, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Dude, low key, I think it wouldn't affect me. I think if I got a fight to the head, I think I would just be the same. I could handle it.
You're like, the frontal lobe, who needs that?
Yeah.
But so we got Chowder. We're talking about Chowder. We have given much lip service, if you will, to CH Greenblatt. We talked about him on Billy Mandy. We talked about him on SpongeBob. We talked about Harvey Beaks, which is a previous show that he was the showrunner of, or the show after this, a previous show that we talked about that he was a showrunner of, but came after this.
This is like his put him on the map thing.
Yes, this is the thing that brought him from being storyboard artist to a showrunner, and that people kind of like a household name, because before this, like, people maybe like recognize his name and everything if they were watching SpongeBob or Billy and Mandy, you know. But I know for me, like, it was very rare for me to really keep in mind as a kid the name of storyboard artist. I would usually just focus on like the creator credit. So like in Billy and Mandy's case, that would be Maxwell Adams, and SpongeBob, Steven Hillenburg. So it
I
was.
also think CH Greenblatt as a name is a good one for kids to remember.
Yeah, and it feels very chowdery. You know, it feels like it fits
does.
with Chowder, and like it's what is it? It's, I don't know, kind of reminds me of like somebody who would draw like a children's book or something like that.
Oh, yeah, like
CH
those,
Greenblatt.
like the pseudonyms, like from like R.L. Stein and those kind of things that like artists, that like novelists would use. Yeah, definitely. I think also this is when his art style was like embedded in my head. Like going back, there's some designs of Billy and Mandy that you could definitely feel his vibe on. You know? Yeah.
And then this, but
yeah,
this
and then
like
this,
like really fucking brings it up a notch. I will say this, I'll be completely honest up front and let my biases be known. This is one of my favorite Cartoon Network shows. This is, you know, and I feel no different on this rewatch. I did a whole video on it. You can check it out. Nobody watched it for some reason, but check it out on my channel. And then, you know, great video. I put a lot of effort into that. But that was like 4 years ago or whatever. But how about, yeah.
I will say, same on this being one of my favorite cartoons. I had to pull a lot of heavy lifting because Kathy hated this show. Kathy told me that they hated Chowder. And I was like, well, I'm about to pick the best episodes. I'm about to fucking sniper shot. I gotta get. Listen, there's some episode Chowders I think are dirt poor, dirt worst. But you will not be seeing those, Kathy. No, thank you. You'll be seeing the goats, the best of the best. Like,
yeah, and I do think this show is very interesting because it kind of changes a lot as it goes on. And you could say that it's like, oh, it's just kind of discovering itself. But it feels like all 3 seasons are kind of like different, very different, or maybe not very different, but like they're still the same show. But they just feel like they have different priorities as far as tone and comedy and everything goes.
I'd even argue like the first half of season 1 versus the second half of season 1 even feels like that sometimes.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I definitely think like second half of season 1 gets a little bit more like that's really the figure yourself out moment. Like this is kind of what we want the show to gear towards. They kind of like amp it up in season 2, and then I've said before, like season 3 really feels like they just kind of threw the rule book out and are like, who fucking cares? And then, which is not a bad thing necessarily.
No,
I think it's very
but they got
funny.
8 episodes. They're like, let's go. You know, like, let's just do it.
Yeah, they just have a lot of bullshit in there. Just a lot of like, you know, just episodes that are just kind of existing to have the characters scream at each other and be funny, and you know, there's fourth wall humor. But yeah, so basically Chowder, it takes on those similar qualities that you get from, you know, not just the Greenblatt stuff in SpongeBob and Billy and Mandy, but like all of the humor from those kind of shows. It's a little bit mean. It's a little bit characters screaming at each other. There is like a little bit of a grounded quality to it, despite it being a very fantastical show, because it has like a pretty solid premise of Chowder wanting to be an apprentice chef, and they don't do too much as far as like moving him along his journey of becoming like a good chef.
That becomes like the joke at the end of the show, actually, which I think is very funny. That Chowder does not progress as a chef. It's really good. This is also one of the rare shows that we will cover that's a comedy show that has like a real physical ending, which is, I didn't remember Chowder having such a clean ending, actually. So that was kind of like surprising for me. Yeah.
No, I even as a kid, I remember being very like, oh, I enjoyed the fact that it ended. Just for whatever reason, I just like when shows are able to end and
Me
have
too.
have like a very neat bow. Like I'm fine if they have like more of an open ending or whatever, because that's all they were able to do. Something like Stugau, recently,
Yeah.
that kind of had to settle for just like a final episode that felt like conclusive, but also left things open just in case. One of those kind of things. So,
But yeah, I do like a good solid like cum shot at the end. Like I think
yeah.
but but yeah, like even if it's not like a narrative big ending, something that like the creators got to do something large-ish with to end it. That just feels nice. And I think for the most part, even for shows I'm not like the hottest on, those usually work really well. Because you could tell like there's a motivation from like people behind the scenes that are like, I want to go out the way we want to go out. Like I think the Camp Laszlo's last season has a little bit of,
Yeah, exactly.
But I think the ending works great. I think the ending's fine. Like I think that's like a fine way to go out. It's the most Camp Laszlo way to go and go out there, and do it.
Yeah,
so that's cool.
To like give it that ending, and we talked about it before with like way back with Dexter's Lab, that the season 2 ending of that show felt very much like, oh, this feels like a great ending. Or Ego Trip also feels like a pretty good ending for that show.
Ego Trip feels great. I think Ego Trip feels fantastic as an ending.
And then we just don't care about the Chris Savino seasons. As far as like whether or not they count towards an ending, it's just like
they don't, because Chris Savino is a fucking
is a crazy person,
little squid, fucking squid. I hate that guy.
Yeah, we haven't brought him up in a while, so
yeah, we fucking hate him. How's that?
Yeah. We bring him up. There you go. Take a shot for that. But okay, so Chowder. We're back to talking about Chowder. So for me, I think the humor of it, like I said, it's very similar to these other shows, but it takes things in a little bit more of a silly direction rather than a cynical direction.
Yeah.
And like I do, like SpongeBob had a good amount of silliness to it, but like especially with the Greenblatt episodes, they felt there was like this cynical edge to it, and it wouldn't, it would become far more silly and whatever as it would go on. But I do think that this show, like, it kind of has like a perfect tone. Like the music is great for its tone, the visuals, God, the character designs and everything. Like all those elements, I think, come together very well to build like a world that's very easy to love.
I think the way I would describe it is Chowder has and I notice it said a lot, it has a dreamlike quality to it. And I don't mean that in the sense of like how people usually mean it. I mean like everything in Chowder feels known to you, but also weird, but weird in a known way, the way a dream does,
Yeah.
Like you'll be in a dream and like you'll see like a hybrid animal and you won't react to it because in the dream, that's just how things are. And a lot of Chowder feels like that to me. And I think that's like one of the coolest parts about it. Like a great example is like you don't question the weird hybrid animals that everyone is until they point it out as a joke.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, oh yeah, Chowder's wait, what is Chowder? And then they make a joke about it. I'm like, he's a rabbit, bear, raccoon, cat thing. Yeah. And I'm like, that's really funny that like it takes the show pointing stuff out to you to go, this is a weird thing, isn't it? And I think that's neat about it.
Yeah, I like that I like that Chowder has sharp teeth. That's like a fun detail. I like, purple is like a very interesting and striking color to just have your character, like his like fur or skin, whatever you want to call it.
It's fur.
Yeah, I guess fur. Yeah. Is like more of a lighter shade of purple, and then he has like a darker purple like outfit. This show very famous for that whole thing where like the clothes patterns are on a different layer, so when they're walking, the layer doesn't move. It's just the like, the transparent part of the clothes that like moves across the layer.
Looks cool. It
Yeah.
always looks so fucking cool. And also, I love the patterns. There's so many cool patterns they use in this show
Yeah.
with that effect, and it's so neat because you never know what's going to be in a character. It could be their hair, it could be their outfit, it could be something else, and I think it's just so neat whenever it happens.
Yeah, it's very cool. And then, like I said, the backgrounds very much, like I compared it to children's books, but specifically like Richard Scarry, I would probably say is like that's kind of the closest visually, like that, and like Dr. Seuss. There's a lot of that in there. There's maybe a little bit of Muppet energy in there because of the puppet stuff that ends each episode.
We'll talk more about this later, but there is like a deeply puppet energy the further you get into this show.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about it later, but like I think it's such a cool thing, and I think more character designers should do it. But yeah, we'll talk about it later. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. That's what I'll to give a timely, not so timely reference, but something that I recently played as of recording this podcast. In chapter 3 of Deltarune, two of the bosses, El Nino and La Nino are the name of the two bosses. They look very Muppety. Like that's the whole design aesthetic of those two characters is that they look like Muppets. And it just made me very happy because I love the Muppets. But yeah, you're right. This does have like, there is that kind of energy to it, to some of the characters. And in general, I love like the puppet thing just makes me think about, I just love the mixed media style that this show has.
That is my favorite thing about Chowder. Chowder loves to use real cats, puppets, stop motion, claymation. Like it always feels so in line with the show.
Yeah.
Like I think in a lot of other shows it could feel like just a gag, right? Mm-hmm. But it kind of just feels set in a weird way in Chowder. Like I feel like if an episode didn't have any of the transitions that's like just like stop motion, like food being cooked and stuff like that, I would be like, what's going on? There's a Schoolhouse Rock quality to this show.
Yeah, for sure. Or Sesame Street, like
yes, or definitely Sesame Street too. Yeah, like
where I think to me the reason why it works more than, for example, like SpongeBob or something being like, oh, here's a live action cutaway, which I don't think it's bad, but I'm just saying I think that it like works better than that, or works better than some other shows that do like, oh, here's a realistic thing, is that, like you said, it still works within the nature of the show. It doesn't feel like it's breaking its own reality to do that gag. Even though this is like a very funny show, and it is a show with a very tenuous grasp on its own reality, it still has a reality and a tone. It still isn't like a surrealist or absurdist type of show, so you kind of go to expect that. So instead of feeling like, oh, it's breaking its rules and haha, that's funny, it just is like reinforcing its own tone.
Yeah.
So like when you see like food transitions in stop motion and everything, or you'll see like, oh, when it highlights a food or a character or something, they'll be in stop motion, which is done by a company named Screen Novelties, who also, they helped on the Yampians episode of Harvey Beaks, and like a few other things. I think they also did the Christmas episode in season 2. But yeah, so they like Greenblatt got help from them, and did a lot of this show. This show feels very ambitious, I feel like. That's why I think...
It does. It feels really ambitious, yeah.
Yeah, like I compare it in my head to some previous Cartoon Network shows that came out. And I feel like it's safe to say at this point that even if I enjoyed Camp Lasso, and to an extent, Mind Your Partner's a Monkey, and whatever, like... those shows feel very derivative of previous styles from Cartoon Network. And I would say the early part of the 2000s really is just, let's try to do Powerpuff Girls and Dexter's Lab and Johnny Bravo. Like all those shows that were famous in the 90s, let's try to do that again. And you can say, oh, these shows are different. They have like a different feel to them, which I do agree with. But fundamentally, they are very similar to those shows. The only difference being that they've changed from a 7-minute format to an 11-minute format.
I think like also having this show, and we'll talk about Flapjack later, like down the line. But there is a like, even though Adventure Time did save it, and we'll talk about that when we get to Adventure Time. There is a like back to for lack of a better term, pervert basics in Chowder and Flapjack, where we yet again have people who are making a show that love the medium of like everything they make.
Absolutely.
Like,
that's what
like CH Greenblatt loves Muppets, he loves Sesame Street, he loves early cartoons and stuff like that, but he's not trying to do that. He's trying to do what's in his brain with his team and what they have in their brain put out in like stuff they've always enjoyed, you know? The reason why, like, My Gym Partner's a Monkey, if it did a puppet cutaway, it would be like, because that would be the joke. The joke would be, isn't it we were doing puppets? But in Chowder, that's not the joke. The joke is, these guys like puppets. They like the idea of using that form of, like, storytelling and, like, air quotes animation, because it's stop motion, in their show. Like, there's like a level of like, we're coming in here and we want to do things even if they're weird, because that's what's fun to us. And that's like going back to like, and that's why like it feels like it's a contemporary of like Powerpuff Girls and stuff like that, even if it's not trying to be like those, because those shows have so many callbacks to things because it's stuff that the creators enjoyed. The Tokusatsu callbacks, the Kaiju callbacks, that kind of stuff.
So with, like we were saying, like with those middle shows between this and those, like between Chowder and Powerpuff Girls or whatever, those like middle era shows, they feel like they're just trying to copy a formula, which is not, like, some of them are very good and some of them are very interesting. Like, you know, I like shows like Whatever Happened to Robot Jones. Like, that's a very artistically, visually good looking show, and Kids Next Door and Billy and Mandy, etc. And then of course like those mid shows like Camp Lazlo
like the
and
ones
whatever.
you just mentioned,
but there's just so much confidence in this, and and even over Camp Lazlo, which is done by like an old head cartoon guy, like it just feels like there's so much more confidence and so much more trailblazing energy in this, that it's just like, you gave me a show, I'm not gonna fucking pull any punches. I'm going to make this as insane and luxurious as a production as I possibly can. Even down to like, you know, we talked about the character design, we talked about the art design, but even like the line art, it's just like so cool with it being like this very sketchy, like pen drawing of each of the characters. It's just so distinct. And it works very well, and it's set apart when like you get to something like Harvey Beaks, which has like a little bit more of a cleaner aesthetic. Not to say that it's like completely sanitized, but
it's just like it's a growth. I don't mean growth as like better or worse either. It's a growth of the style of which he does. It's still there, but it's a forward movement. And I think when we talk about like CH Greenblatt, I think forward momentum is like what you got to mention. Even if he's making comedy shows, he's moving forward what we're doing. Like there's a reason why this feels like the big stopgap before we get hit with like Adventure Time, a regular show, because this show, and I think Flapjack also, are the big things going, let's push us all forward. And I think that's what was needed. I think like seeing Real, we'll talk about that when we get to it, better or worse, right? I think when that happened after having a show like this and some other stuff, there was no choice but to keep pushing forward. There was no choice but to be a little bit weirder.
And like, I feel like this show definitely, like, it's like this and Flapjack, of course, like they needed to exist in order to get to that point. You know, like we absolutely would not have Adventure Time and, you know, helping and saving the network and regular show and Gumball and everything in that early 2010s if it weren't for this show. And I think partially that might just be because it kept the network alive, like in the public consciousness.
That's definitely part of it,
Like, wow, during its like dark period, and like now unfortunately, they're kind of in a similarly, or maybe even way worse place, just because the network is being like picked apart, and like Cartoon Network Studios is just like a name. You know, the actual studio is gone. So even though there are productions that are being made for or by Cartoon Network Studios, the employees are just part of like Hanna-Barbera or Warner Brothers or whatever. Like they're just like scattered to the winds, and things are just seemingly getting worse and worse, with very little reprieve. So again, take another shot, everybody. Talk animation industry bad. We're talking about that on Cartoon Buffoons. We've been doing it for over a year now.
Let's get into. I guess we should get into like the show.
We've kind of talked about like the periphery elements of it, but yeah, we should kind of like get a little bit more deep into the characters and the episodes.
So, Chowder is a show about a child named Chowder that lives in Marzipan City, and Chowder is underneath Chef Mung Dal, learning to be a chef. The show goes on to this later, but the city of Marzipan is set up with like a weird pseudo economy where everyone has a specific job and everyone has an apprentice. That was such a weird thing to find out. Like that's just how the city goes. But yeah, so our four main characters, and we have a lot of side characters we'll talk about, is Chowder, voiced by Nikki Jones. Chowder is so funny.
Yes.
He is a rat bastard, I think. Not on purpose. I don't think he knows he's a rat bastard. But he's just like, every kid you'll meet in this show, specifically the Apprentices, is one aspect of what makes a child annoying to be around to 1,000. And I think that's really funny as like a setup. Mung Dal as his teacher is voiced by Dwight Schultz. And Mung Dal is... You ever see that? He's a guy that shares the "Can you believe my wife" memes on
Mung Dal, like we'll talk about Truffles in a second, but that relationship is one of those things where it's like maybe this is aged poorly, but it's also very funny, so I don't really care. It's super funny. So it's just like, because they are just like so old. You know, that they're
he's like they're hundreds of years old. I think that was a joke. They're like hundreds of years old. I also like that Mung Dal reads to me like, I don't know if you guys ever seen like the poster where like Kakini boing boing. Mung Dal reads to me as if like a guy that's like horny on Twitter. And then his wife has to hit him. It's so good. But also Truffles is also horny on the internet. Every time there's a sexy man or like even a tree, Truffles is like trying to like, oh, I hope Mung's dead so I can get a divorce and marry this attractive man. And I'm like, fuck, you guys hate each other. They don't even really hate each other.
Yeah,
like, they're so just neutral when they're together. Yeah,
they are more like, there's like, I don't know, the sparks are missing or whatever. There's very good episode, where he tries to like win back her love with like a makeover and everything. He gets like a Michael Jackson style like makeover, and then like they run out of budget, and then there's the whole thing where it's only the voice actors in the studio recording.
And then they do a car wash, and Tara Strong is there.
Yeah, of course, Tara Strong is...
It's a little weird. It's a little weird.
Tara Strong's like, hey, what if I did this? You know, and I'm like, okay, Tara, I guess we're doing this. And then, of course, there's John DiMaggio as
Schnitzel.
As Schnitzel, who's like a big rock fuck. He's he's like the Squidward of the show, but he also only speaks in a made-up language of going rada rada.
Rada 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 rada. And you would think it would stop being funny, and you would be fucking wrong.
Yeah.
Because even though Schnitzel is not saying anything, because his character is I don't get paid enough.
Yeah.
You understand what he means every single time. Like with Chowder, like rada 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 rada. And he goes, "What do you mean you need benefits?"
Yeah,
and like it's super fucking funny every single time.
So
I do think it's neat to have Tara Strong and John DiMaggio in your main cast and have them both do bit parts where they're not doing a lot of voice acting. Yeah. I think that is so big brain because this show hinges on Nikki Jones, who is like 9 at the point this came out, being the best child voice actor you've ever heard.
Yeah, he is so good. And obviously like Dwight Schultz as Mung Dal, also like an incredible voice actor. I am fantastic. so glad that they did not go with the idea of him having an Indian accent.
Thank God.
Yeah, because that would have made the show, like, that would have been fine if the character, like, if it was an actual Indian voice actor, or to some degree. But, like, definitely would not have been good for Dwight Schultz to do that voice. It's better that they, like, with the voice that they went for, and, you know, like, even, like, Truffles with the like, Eastern European, like, Jewish kind of, like, old person accent, like, that makes perfect sense with Tara.
Also, Truffles is also, like, sometimes, like, Asian coded. Like,
that
with,
is true. That is true.
Stuff like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But they said, Tara Strong, you do not have to do a racially insensitive voice. Yeah. And I'm like, you know what? Thank God, dude. Thank God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead.
Now we are going to the greatest voice actor of all time who plays a bit role.
Mm-hmm.
Dana Snyder is the best voice actor to ever live.
Yeah.
Him as Gazpacho is so fucking funny. Mm-hmm. Every time Gazpacho's on screen, I'm having the time of my life.
Yeah.
I'm throwing things in the air like this. Hello, Chowder. Mother says that, and I'm like, fuck, shut up.
I love it. We talked about in the Harvey Beaks episode that, like, Randall is one of our favorite characters, and he feels like a evolution or a different version of Gazpacho, as, like, okay, with Gazpacho, we only, like, hear about his weird mother situation, and we don't ever get to really see it. I mean, I know that there's an episode in season 3. We'll talk about that. But for the most part, it's just, like, him talking about his overbearing mother. And at first, it's, like, a couple references, and it's kind of funny, but then it just keeps going, and it gets, like, more ridiculous. Weird. You're like, what is your relationship with your mother? And then... like, and of course, Dana Snyder is just so funny. At this point, he really wasn't, like, that much of a voice actor. Like, he had been mostly in Adult Swim stuff, like...
yeah, just almost purely Adult Swim stuff at this point.
Yeah.
But, like, he's just so goddamn good.
Venture Bros and things like that. And Minora Team. We don't need to talk about that. But
he's also in, I think, like, Your Pretty Face Goes to Hell and some shit like that. Like, yeah.
Yeah, which is a year or two after this. Just because of that, I think that's the Aqua Teen people that made that show.
Yeah. But after this, he's in Bob's Burgers. He's in other places because, like, he's like a fuckload of side characters in Flapjack. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, I forgot, he's, like, funny as shit. He's so funny, and, like, he's so good at voice acting. And it's impossible to hear him say any line and not go, I'm going to remember this for the rest of my fucking life. Like, there's a reason why we still go like this. I'm 30 or 40 years old. I don't need this.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. And Dana Snyder, it's always funny to me because, like, yeah, he got to start on Adult Swim. And even Chowder, I feel like, you know, Gazpacho is sort of a side character, so he's not, like, a super prominent character. But then when you get to The Ghost of Molly McGee, a recent Disney show, that he's one of the headline characters of a Disney cartoon. And that, to me, is like, wow, he really made it. You know, like, that is kind of crazy to think about.
We should, I guess there's one more adult we talk about before I want to talk about the 3 other apprentices. But there's also Endive. Endive is a rival chef.
Yep.
That is in the city. And I'm going to just be frank here. I think the jokes around Endive are very mean-spirited, right?
Yes.
However, she's bad as fuck, everybody. Let's all take a step back.
I agree. Yeah.
Right? Who is not fucking her? Like, come on. Like,
there's some episodes where I remember watching them, and I was like, the people surely...
yeah.
The board artists also think she's hot. Like, I know there's so many, like, oh, she's fat, she's ugly, whatever. Like, she's old. But they are horny for her multiple times throughout this show. And not, like, later season episodes even. This is, like
early on.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, oh, she's so ugly, she's so fat. Look at her in these, like, yoga pants that show off every crevice of her ass. Isn't this so gross? Ha ha ha. Look at her walk away and watch it bounce. And I'm like, guys, look, we can just be horny. We could just be horny. We don't got to make fat jokes. We could just be like, yeah, I need her something bad, dude.
Yeah. I feel like to them, it's like, it would have been censored if they just made, like, a sexy lady. So they're just like, oh, haha, we got to make her like a fat, sexy lady. But then, it's like, to me, it's almost like it's much better. It's like aged better, but that like the Tiny Toons problem of like Bruce Timm is horny, but he can't draw sexy women in this children's cartoon, so he has to like sex up the teenage girl animal characters, and Weird. It's just like, you know, you get the most luxuriously sexily drawn pictures of like Babs and Fifi and characters like that, and it's like little bit weird, you know, going back and watching the show. But it's an adult character, so I'm like, okay, it's fine.
Yeah. And she gets a happily ever after marriage ending too.
Yeah, there you go.
And they make out at the end, and like, he's like, yeah, all right. But now we're getting to my 3 favorite characters now.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So there's other apprentices, and the first one to introduce is Panini, who is Endi's apprentice. She's also a chef. She's really like a pâtissière. Oh God, Morgan, don't use your degree right now.
Hell yeah.
But Panini's thing is that she has a crush on Chowder. And I think in any other show with lesser comedy writers, this would have gotten annoying very quickly. Panini is the funniest character in this show, with one exception. Every time there's a Panini-focused episode, I'm having the time of my life.
Yeah.
The first episode I have her in, like, she's like, Chowder, me and you, we're boyfriend and girlfriend. And Chowder's like, I'm not your boyfriend. And he hires a performance of a performer singing like this, I'm not your boyfriend. And for the rest of the episode, people are singing that like it's an earworm while doing other things. And it is the funniest. Like, someone like just like vacuuming their carpet, like, I'm not your boyfriend. I'm not your boyfriend. And they even start doing it while they're having conversations. Like Panini's cooking, and she's like, I'm not your boyfriend. It's so funny.
Yeah. So I love Panini. I think I talked about that in my video. I have there was tiny little minifigures of Chowder that were released around the time that the show came out. And I have one for all the characters except for Truffles, and Dive. So it's just like Mungdahl, Schnitzel, Chowder, and Panini are the 4 little figures that I have. And I always make sure to put the Chowder and Panini next to each other on the counter. I agree. Like, I think that is a very cute, like them together, like they make a good visual pair and everything. And I agree with that, but I did want to bring this up on, like, talked about it before, and I'm not going to get too deep into this because we have some history with Mr. Enter, as far as like throwing shade at him, but I want to highlight a time that he made a video recently. There was some I'm trying to sum this up very quickly. There was a pseudo controversy that happened where a guy made a video talking about how he felt that the relationship between Chowder and Panini was kind of uncomfortable. And I don't necessarily agree with that, but I could see where he's coming from in the sense that, it's like, oh, if the roles were reversed, it would have been like bad optics. But then another guy made a video responding to him being like, fuck you, you're making fun of my favorite show, the woke left is cringe, etc. Like, you shouldn't overanalyze children's cartoons. And me, as somebody who does this, not for a living, but all the time, like on this podcast, overanalyzing children's cartoons, I had the opinion, it's like, this is a very flawed perspective. Like, I really don't agree with the idea that you shouldn't overanalyze these shows. I don't think that you should get like super worked up over it
you can analyze art.
But like, I don't think it should ruin your day, or you should say like the show is trash or the show is amazing or whatever, like based on that. I think you should be able to analyze and have different readings on art. Remember this. Keep this in mind when we get to some shows like Steven Universe. So Mr. Enter, cartoon clown, that a person that has been bullied by the cartoon community at large for years.
Just give him his credit. Oh.
Came out and made a video that was defending that original video and shit talking the response video and talking about the fact that it's like, hey, I love Chowder. I think Panini's a funny character. I think there's plenty of episodes where they make a cute couple, but there's also plenty of episodes where I think that the joke runs dry. You know, I think that it does just kind of become like a very repetitive gag, possibly like a sexist or a, like some nasty implications or whatever, like in there. Again, like this seems like it's being a little bit too extreme to Chowder, right? But the point isn't to say Chowder's canceled. It's to be like, you can look at things and acknowledge that there's poorly aged elements in them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it was a very balanced take from Mr. Enter, and it was one that I ended up like really agreeing with, even though the literal example I didn't necessarily agree with, because like I said, I really like Panini. I think that she's a very funny character and like very cute, but I saw that I want to bring that up just because it got me thinking. It made me be like, maybe I misjudged you.
No.
After all, Mr. Enter. That's not me necessarily saying I'm going to rehabilitate his image in real time. I think that's up to him to do that, not me. I don't really care. But I did just want to bring that up because I thought that it was like an interesting talking point. It was something that became kind of a thing around this show. So it'd be...
I will say, what I think the original take is from a place of like real thought, right?
Mm-hmm.
I do think it falls apart given the fact that Panini has a guy in the show that's obsessed with her, and that's his joke.
Yeah.
I think it immediately falls apart. That's my big issue.
Yeah,
about they did this with like a boy. I think that's my issue. My other thing is, this is how you know why it's the nice one in the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Because Mr. Enter had to take like a normal human being. Wow, good fucking for him. I'm a dick though. So
yeah. Like you wouldn't have had any, you wouldn't have thought second about it. You'd just been like, okay, sure, whatever, and moved on with your life. Whereas I was like, let me shout out the fact that this guy. Yeah, but I guess I just want to bring it up because it, like I said, I watched it and there was a couple moments in the video where I was like, wow, you're right. I do agree with that. Which it wasn't necessarily about Chowder itself, but just media analysis in general. Because it is like, I agree with the idea that we should want to look deeply into these shows because the people who made them put a lot of effort into making the show. So trying to analyze it and pick apart its themes, where it went right, where it went wrong, is important because that's what they want you to do because they are creating a piece of art. I know it's like a consumer art, but it is still art. So that is all that I wanted to bring up. We don't have to talk about Mr. Enter anymore.
No. I just think it's like, and I agree with you, and I think it's good that people hear that. I just think it's dire that we need to make sure people hear that. Mm-hmm. I think it's fucking bleak that human beings can't go, you guys, you can't look into everything. Everything doesn't have to be political. And I'm like, well, I think you're stupid. Mm-hmm. And politically speaking, if I was in charge, you would be drawn and quartered.
Yeah.
But Panini's funny.
Yeah, I'll say that, like, one of the episodes that he shouted out is like, oh, I don't really like this episode, which is Bruised Blue Nana. That's one of my favorite episodes of season 1.
It's so funny.
Because it's just it's really funny. I like, I feel like it sort of reveals that Panini isn't just like, oh, she's the annoying girl who's always like, getting on Chowder's nerves. She's deeply troubled as well. Like she's
hold on, wait. There's a joke actually where Chowder goes, Gorgonzola goes, you know what? I'm gonna say it. You aren't really the people I wanted to die with. And Chowder goes, yeah, me neither. And Panini goes, actually, I always imagined us being buried together, Chowder. And Chowder like stops and goes, me and you are gonna have a long talk after this. And it is such a funny joke. Like, we're gonna have a long talk after this. Like, it's when Chowder goes from like, haha, you're not my wife, to like, no, actually,
like, hold on, what the fuck are you talking about?
Like, I think that's part of the thing that makes Panini work so well is that she's ridiculous in a way that like other characters. She's ridiculous the same way Chowder is in a different direction.
Yeah.
And other characters bring it up, and it's so funny because like it even like kind of mocks the adult thing of they're just cute kids because like. Gets about to go like, oh, look at those cute kids. And Chowder's like, I need help. I'm not, this isn't like a cute kid thing. You should be helping me. And it's so fucking funny. But yeah, Panini's super funny. I think her relationship with other characters helps a lot. Anytime her and Ceviche are together is the funniest shit I've ever seen in my entire life. Yeah, there's
what's that episode in where it's like the fair and Chowder is like he goes on a date with like a girl that kind of looks like
the tinsel fair,
yeah, and then that's one of my favorite jokes. It's at the end of season 2, it has like one of my favorite jokes in the whole fucking show where Panini's like crying in grief over losing Chowder, and then Ceviche is like on a scale from 1 to 10, how desperate are you right now? And she just sobs and goes 11, and then before she finishes sobbing, we cut back to Ceviche spraying breath freshener.
Like, it's a dark joke, but it's so fucking funny. Like, it also, let's just go. We're gonna talk about Ceviche. Ceviche's whole deal is he's the apprentice of a dancer and performer named Pate. Ceviche is, and I can't stress this enough, the fruitiest looking character in the show. Like, he is a deer gazelle thing with a purple leotard on, pink purple hair, and candy cane striped horns. And he talks like this all the time.
Just amazing. And all four of the children have like amazing voice actors.
These kids are killing it so hard. And his whole deal is that he loves dance. He also like loves Panini. Like, Panini, I'm in love with you. And the thing is, though, Panini will go from like cutesy haha girl to when she's talking to Ceviche, she goes, dude, back up. Like, she will call it bro. She'll be like, bro, you need to back up. And whenever she calls him bro or dude to like enforce that they are friends and nothing more, I am crying. Like, it's so funny.
Yeah, it's very good. That is another one of those episodes where it's like it is very funny to me. Like, for whatever reason, it just is like, I'll admit to fault if, again, if you want to take that video seriously, that like, maybe there is some nasty implications here and there for the character.
Absolutely.
But like, it just like works to me. Like, it comes out in the wash. Like, I think that, it was just up to the person to like whether or not it bothers them, and it just doesn't really bother me. It was more so the idea that was being presented of like, we should be able to analyze. That being said, I do actually have a legit El Wokeisma or La Wokeisma criticism of Chowder here.
I will say I think one of the things that makes Panini work for me another time is the one time Chowder returns affection, she immediately goes, whoa, hold on. You're moving a little fast for me, bro. I'm a kid. This is my space. You see this? This is my space. I needs my space. That's another. But what's your like big woke?
It's left? That the female characters are not the best in this show. Even though I love all of them individually, as a collective, Endive, Panini, Truffles are all like wretched harpies that just make the lives of the male characters worse. And they aren't given a lot of depth beyond their like specific character traits of like, we get some focus episodes that go a little bit deeper into each of the characters, but for the most part, Endive, she's like a stuffy, uptight, arrogant,
can't get married. She's like I think this show needed a woman who was like Schnitzel, because to be fair, every character in the show kind of is like a wretched motherfucker.
That is true,
but there is Schnitzel, and Gazpacho's a loser. So it doesn't really matter.
I think that's why it doesn't bother me too much, but it is something that I look back in retrospect, especially when we talked about Harvey Beaks, which had like a really great, very fully filled cast
of women and stuff in it.
And like one of the best characters was Fee, who was a female character, and like it just didn't really. It feels like they kind of like tone things down and learn their lesson. Even when you get to Jellystone, which is a lot more like Chowder tonally, like all of the female characters feel like a lot more well-rounded. Like none of them feel like annoying harpies or anything like that. Like the closest to like a completely obnoxious female character would be Jabberjaw, but I love her. So it's like no. And
Jabberjaw's like barely that bad, you know?
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying is that she's like very overbearing.
Yeah.
And then like, but you know the other characters that they focus on a lot, like Cindy and Augie, is like those are.
God, I love Augie. I love Augie so fucking much.
Yeah, whenever we get to Jellystone, which will be very far from now.
Yeah.
But, like, her relationship
I guess,
with her father is one of the most fascinating, disturbing things that is hilarious in the entire... that I've ever seen in any cartoon. It's just, like, so funny to, like, look at it, but it's so sad at the same time. But go ahead.
Augie Dougie. No, I was going to say, the last kid we got to talk about is my favorite. If you want to talk about mean spirit.
Yeah.
Gorgonzola is, I think, maybe the meanest character we've seen in a cartoon so far.
Yeah.
And you might go, well, you watch some mean-spirited cartoons. I don't think it comes close.
Yeah.
There's times when he's insulting Chowder that feel like a real bully in real life speaking to him.
Yeah.
Like, Chowder's like, oh, I feel so bad. Oh, you feel bad, Chubbs?
There's sometimes where I'm like, he's not even like a bully. He's just fucking hates Chowder. And
yeah,
he just like wants it. It's so, like he's not even doing it to like make himself feel better or to pick on somebody, you know, whatever. He's just like, I fucking hate this guy.
Like you like sometimes you go like, oh, Morgan, you said, oh, this character will tell the other character to kill themselves.
Yeah.
In a show. He basically word for word tells Chowder that every episode he's in. Mm-hmm. Like he says, oh, you should be dead. You should be dead. I made the joke post on Blue Sky of that, like their dynamic is that one picture like this. Ooh, I'm rubbing my belly.
Yeah.
I'm so full. And the other one's like this. I don't like that. You should kill yourself. You really need to kill yourself. That's literally every time they have a scene in this show.
Yeah.
And you would go, should they be showing us the kids? I don't know. It's also the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen every single time. Like they're like the Apprentice games where Gorgonzola gets his first real big speaking role. They're like this. Oh, we have to throw each other. And Chowder goes, well, do you want me to throw you? And Gorgonzola like this. That would involve you touching me, fatso, and not letting you put your hands on me. And I'm like, fuck.
Yeah. They're he's like, yeah, go ahead.
He's like, he like puts on gloves and goes, yeah, get ready for it, asshole. Like he's just like a dick.
Yeah, the definitely like into season 2 and season 3 they lean more into the apprentices as like Chowder's cohorts and everything, and I think like I love that stuff so much, and it made me realize like, oh, maybe part of the reason why I like Harvey Beaks is because it is just like, oh, it is the kids, which I know like most kids shows are about the kids or whatever, but it just made, I don't know, I think that they found a good balance going forward with that in like Jellystone, where it's like, yeah, sometimes you do just get an episode that's like just the kids or just the adults or whatever, like different facets of the world. The world is just so lovable that I just want to see every facet of it possible and like learn about the lives of these people and like how they interact with each other. And like it's just like funny because those four, like I would not ever consider them like friends or like a normal dynamic at all. Like it's just, there's Chowder, and then Panini is like, you know, very cloying and obsessive over Chowder. And then, you know, Chowder is very like awkward and kind of like hedonistic. And then Ceviche is, you know, he's very like calm and reserved, but also
the only
like,
good apprentice also.
Yeah, he has like a deep passion in his soul, like that comes to the surface whenever like Panini is around, and then like Ceviche or Gorgonzola just like hates everybody. He specifically hates Chowder the most, but like he just doesn't really like. I like in the Christmas episode when those three, Chowder, Panini, and Gorgonzola, have to like get into the Knish Crinkle costume, and then they just Panini and him just start kicking each other. for like like a minute. Like they're just like beating each other up inside of the costume. So
there's a good joke in the last season where they're all at like apprentice scouts, and Gorgonzola is like there, and they're all talking. Gorgonzola just out of nowhere goes, "I can't believe I know all these people. I can't." And I'm like, fuck, like, there's not even a setup. He just says, I can't believe I have to know these people, that I have to be aware of their existence. And I'm like, fuck, this kid is so mean. And it's so funny. And I can't, like, Will Shatley, who voices Gorgonzola, this kid is so good at voice acting, because Gorgonzola says it with, like, the kind of disdain that you need to be at least 46 to have. But he says it as a 10-year-old, and it's so funny. Like,
yeah, it's just so good. The trying to go through and see there. Okay, so I do want to talk about some specific episodes. Season 1 has like is a really, really, really solid season, especially like for a season 1 of a show. It feels like it's fully formed right off the bat. Like it knows what it's about.
It very much does. Yeah.
Even though, like, it would say, like, it kind of figures itself out as it goes. Because, like, the first 2 episodes, which are the Froggy, Apple, Crumple, Thumpkin, and Chowder's Girlfriend, are very piloty. Like, they're just introducing the world and the characters. But as soon as episode 2, Burple Nurples, Schnitzel makes a deposit. Schnitzel makes a deposit.
Yeah, we're in.
That episode changed the fucking chemistry of my brain and made me realize, like, my sense of humor.
That episode has, I think, maybe like my favorite jokes in the show. The one that makes you think is just like they get in line and the guy's kind of like 1, 2, 3, and trying like, ooh, I want to count 2. 1, 2, and he starts over, right?
Yeah.
Like he starts, and then essentially goes no counting. Okay, and then like, okay, I won't count. And the guy starts counting again. And Chowder goes, wow, you always get so high. What comes after 46? 47, and after that, 48, and after that, 49. And goes, oh, I got to restart. And she just was like, stop it. And Chowder like, okay, fine. And the guy's counting 1, 2, 3, and Chowder goes, A, B, C, D, E. And the guy goes, F, I, and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
It is the most annoying episode of television.
Yes.
But it's funny the entire time, dude.
To this day, when somebody asks me if I want something, I'll go, would I? And that exact
would I?
Would you? Would I?
Would you? Would you?
Yeah. This is one of those shows that just has so many quotes that are like crammed. And whenever I'm playing like D&D, or just like a tabletop game, I mean, and I roll, I do the from the City Mini Monster episode, yes. and then like somebody else rolls and I go, 73, yeah. Just that's the funniest episode of the whole fucking show, in my opinion, is the City Mini Monster.
Just a loser ass monster.
They're just like trapped in a house playing board games with a loser monster, and there's just like. I think the hardest I laughed while watching this show this time was the scene where Chowder like looks at all of the pictures on the wall, and then it cuts back to him, and he just keeps looking back and forth between the monster and the pictures on the wall. Like, but it's just this same shot of them on the couch, and it's like 90 seconds of him just like occasionally looking back and forth while like the pleasant music is playing in the background. And it just went on for so long that I just like howled with laughter.
Another underrated joke from season 1, not really underrated, is the Thirst Cream Man episode where like this, okay, we just need a cherry on top, and goes, did someone say they need a Larry on top?
Yeah.
And this pink berry comes up like this, what's up, everybody? It's me, Larry. You wanted a Larry in your ice cream? And Monk's like, no, I said a cherry. Whatever, dude. Larry's here. And just like, I don't know why that was so funny to me.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many jokes that are just dumb as shit. But it's they just come at like such a sniper shot, perfect timing to make you laugh.
If we want to talk about female representation in the show, I really love. I made sure to go back and watch because I missed it. The episode with the Ella melons, which are like these big melons that look like elephants, and they're like three ladies of different personality types. Like, I think it's like Queen, Princess, and Duke, or Duchess, or whatever.
Duchess, yeah. Queenie, Princess, and Duchess.
Yeah, and then, like, they're terrified or annoyed by truffles, so Mung locks her in there with them so that they can get along, and then it's just kind of, like, about them slowly bonding, and that's, like, one of those episodes where it's like, oh, wow, they're actually trying to develop Truffles as a character and, like, look into her, like, a little bit deeper. Which, again, like, kind of goes away as the dreaded Flanderization kicks in as the series goes on. But again, like, that's not to say the show gets unfunny as it goes on.
No, it stays funny the entire time. Like, that's one of the strong things. It stays funny. I will say, just to talk about the cast again before we go into, like, the music and then, right. I think this show does something so funny, which is it loves to have really known, talented voice actors in the most bitty bit parts you've ever seen in your entire life.
Yeah. Like
Diedrich
Paul
Bader,
Rubens as,
Paul Rubin as Ruben, like Paul Rubens as Ruben, the pig. Ruben singing shouldn't be funny to me. Hey there, hey there, hey there. It's just so quotable. Ron Perlman as a vaguely racially insensitive tree. Fucking Tone Loc as Chestnut.
Yeah.
Like, they love to get, like, these, like, really... Phil Lamar as, like, 9 characters who have 2 lines and then he gets to fuck off.
Yeah.
He's also, the old teller of, like, that joke we were just talking about, like, in the bank. It's just so neat that they get all these people in. Because, like, the show is carried by, like, the child actors in it. But I think it's just so neat to have that happen.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. And there's, like... I don't know. It's... The voices and this audio and everything, like, this show just has, like, such a unique sound and style to it. It's just, like, very entertaining all the way through. Like, I don't know what else. We can just start wrapping up, I guess, because, like, it's just a very funny, very entertaining show. And I think, like, despite maybe some elements of it not aging well, it has shockingly, like, continued to remain relevant as far as humor goes. Like, I think that there's ground that this show has covered humor-wise that shows still have not gotten to. The show, which is, like, the telling of a great comedy show, is that it still can surprise you even years later coming back to it. Because I'm sorry to make everybody feel old. The show came out in 2007, which was...
20 years.
Almost 20 years ago. Like, that's insane to think about. I was 12 when the show came out.
I think the thing that gets me for this show is that there's a lot of, like, and I don't know how to put it, you like, a lot of, like, humor you see on Vine and TikTok and YouTube poops are chowder coded, like, deeply chowder coded, and not like in the randomness of it, but, like, of the timing of it, the way, like, you time the bits feels like things you would see nowadays, you know? I'd
say that's true for like webcomics too. Like, there's a lot of, like,
webcomics too,
like funny, not like epic webcomics or whatever, but just like funny, like 4-panel comics with a setup and punchline or whatever. They'll have, like, a punchline that will feel very like, oh, this is like Chowdery or SpongeBob-y, and it feels like it's all like Greenblatt sort of, like, warped the humor of an entire generation of kids. Like I said, literally, like, I could feel my brain being rewired as a kid when I watched the Schnitzel Makes the Deposit episode.
Like,
it was just so funny to me.
Like, that fucking, the 1, 2, buckle my shoe. Like, that stupid video that went around felt like a chowder bit. Like, it felt like a chowder bit. I guess one thing before you wrap up, I brought this up a little bit. I was talking to Kathy about the character design in the show. And I know how, like, so every episode ends with, like, puppets, everyone. That's, like, how the end credits there. There's puppets. And I can't figure out if every character translates to puppets in Chowder almost too well. It feels like that's how they were imagined first sometimes.
Yeah.
I think my greatest example of that is Gazpacho. Gazpacho feels like, when you look at him, like a Muppet in this show. Like,
really,
like
Snuffleupagus from
Sesame. Yes, exactly. Yes. Like, just like, because you can feel the fur. So I feel like it's like such a good exercise and clean, simple character design that this show passes in like spades of how easily could we make a like Muppet of your character and have it work and not break the back of like the creative team. And I think that's like something like I want to bring to like more cartoony designs of like how easy could I make you into a Muppet? And I think that's why the Chowder character designs are so strong. And I did want to ask you this because Kathy asked me this. I wanted to ask you specifically. I was asked if I had a Chowder Sona, what would I be an apprentice of, and what would I look like? And I figured out I would be a bear giraffe. So like imagine like a squat bear body, like almost like Chowder's, but like a pseudo long neck with like a giraffe head, but a bear snout. And I'd be orange. And I'd be an apprentice chef. Wyatt, what is your Chowder weird animal mix, and what are you apprentice of?
Ooh, this is a tough one. I think as far as being an apprentice goes, I would probably be like maybe like the apprentice of an antique shop or something like that, just because I love collecting old garbage. And I feel like that's the most like that's like a very broad, quaint version of that. I'm not going to be like I'm at a game store or whatever. No, like an antique shop. Like or an antiquer or somebody like that kind of like collector. And then I don't know about like maybe like some kind of bird, definitely. And then I'm trying to think of something that doesn't just be like, what's my fursona? It has to be like,
like it has to be like a weird mix because like
exactly.
Panini's a weird cat rabbit, you know,
yeah, exactly. Like it has to be kind of
I think you should be a bird monkey. Like imagine a monkey, with like a bird beak and like wing arms. Yeah, like it's fucked up.
So that's the like ears, big ears, tail, you know, like a monkey, but then like a beak. That seems freakish enough to be, you know, pretty good. I like both of those things.
You do.
Yeah. So. All right, I think that's, I don't know. Is there anything else to say about Chowder other than, you know, what we have already said?
I like all the animals in it because they use, like, real animals for so many bits in the show. Yeah. And you could tell by the way they're handled, they're probably, like, pets of the team. Like, sometimes the Schnitzel, the puppet, will just hold the cat. Yeah. Like, that's someone's cat that they brought to the set, and I think that rules.
Like, hell yeah. Give that cat some good meat yogurt. Give it a good treat. I was looking through the episode list to see if I had forgotten anything. The episode Shaboodles in season 2 with Eddie Deason as like the baked character Todd is like, that's just very funny to me. One, because my brother's name is Todd, and two, because like I just love Eddie Deason. He's just like such a funny fucking, like his voice is just so funny. And then the episode in general being like, look how cool and how much everybody loves this guy. Like he's such a beautiful soul. And then Dev's like, what a failure. I hate this fucking piece of shit. He's like complete disappointment. I must like, you know, kill him or finish cooking him or whatever. And it's just like, it's just very funny because it's so cynical and so like the opposite of what you'd expect from a children's show of like it's being like, oh, the beauty is on the inside instead of the outside. Instead it's like, no, I only want the surface level beauty for this beefcake character. So that just sort of sums up like the comedy of it and also like my statement on the like horribleness of like Endive and Shuffles and everything. But again, I love those characters. I love the show. Yeah. There's not a single, I
love the show a lot too.
Yeah, there's not a single aspect of the show that you know, I dislike. Like there's some, even if there are some elements that maybe haven't aged well, it still is like a hilarious show. It's one of my absolute favorites in Cartoon Network. Like if we were to do like a tier list of all of our favorite Cartoon Network shows that we've done so far, it would be very close to the top.
I think that's fucking true too. Like I don't know if I would say that when I went into it because I knew I like Chowder, but like honestly, yeah, I think it gets there because I have a very fucked up sense of humor that I wouldn't have without this show. Yeah. So yeah, that seems true, and I think it's also more measured than like Billy and Mandy's mean sense of humor.
Yeah, and like I said with Billy and Mandy, like that show kind of loses the plot at a certain point where it stops being about like like monsters and the macabre and everything, and just as like, what if stupid shit happened? Like, what if a dumb thing? What if there was a last unicorn joke like episode, and it's like, this doesn't have anything to do with like the supernatural or like ghosts or monsters or whatever. This is like a weird fantasy thing, and it's just like, but it's funny, Hey, but yeah, so we're done with this. We're done talking about Chowder. Morgan.
Yeah.
Where the hell can we find you on this internet?
Oh my fucking god! You can find me at Girl Next Floor on Tumblr and on Blue Sky. I am there. I am posting. I am drawing. You can also find me on. Wait, I said Tumblr and Blue Sky. You gotta find me on Tumblr. You can also find me at Blue Sky, but you gotta hurry because I heard there's a net that I'm going back in time to fix a dish that I fucked up. Oh. And I will definitely be destroying the space-time continuum. So you really want to get on it before that happens.
Yeah.
Wyatt, where can we find you?
On Twitter and Blue Sky at WazPranger, WAZP Ranger. Mostly stream of consciousness stuff, but I do post about podcasts I'm in and videos that I'm making. Just made a video on, well, at this time of the release of this, it was like a month or two ago, but I recently made a video on Stugo, Disney show. Very, very good. Check that out. If you have Disney Plus, it should be on Disney Plus at this point, which is like the end of July. And what else is there? Oh, yeah. Patreon, of course. It's Only Magic. You get this podcast a week early for just $3. So if you're listening to this right now, you can get our next episode, which is kind of up in the air what it's going to be, because we'll talk about it in a sec. So I'm not entirely sure what it's going to be at this point, but maybe you'll find out by the end of this episode. Like as we discuss it real quick. But, that'll be up right now if you're listening to this on YouTube. If you're already subscribed, thank you so much. If you need some more incentive to subscribe, we got also... Wow Cool Row Pod, which is at the $1 level. So if you only got $1, that's fine. Listen to that. And it's a short podcast for me and my friend Wayne. Go through every single robot in existence. And, sometimes we roast the fuck out of them. Sometimes we're like, hey,
this is a cool guy.
Optimus Primal from Beast Machines, 1 star. Like that's it's an ugly ass robot.
That's so fucked up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You guys are mean, man.
Are you going to say that you're a fan of Optimus Primal from Beast Machines, or
no? But everyone knows I'm fucking mean, dude. You don't gain anything from agreeing with me, you piece of shit.
But okay. So yeah, to wrap up the episode, I did want to talk about the fact that like we've discussed this, that we wanted to do a month of episodes, take a little break from Cartoon Network. Similar to what we did with the Nickelodeon shows, but instead of making it like a gag month or whatever, like deceiving people or doing something like that, we just like talk about it beforehand, talk about Adult Swim shows that were still made by like people at Cartoon Network or whatever, or even not. Like it still is an important part of the network. So
a very important part, yeah.
So I wanted to give, similar to how we did a full episode about DBZ, and we'll do one about Naruto later. I wanted to focus on some Adult Swim shows for that part of the network, even though that could be its whole thing. So we'll pick some for that. I think maybe the first one that we should do, because it's one that we both agreed on, is Venture Bros.
Yes, I think that will definitely be a good one to do. And we have a guest. I have a guest in mind who's a good friend of mine who is really into Venture Bros. Truly someone who, like, when the movie dropped, we started DMing right away. So very excited for that.
Yeah, so I think that like, if you want to do that as the next episode, I am down. I do have planned as the next episode to be the next pilot pile-up. So if you want to do that, we'll first, and then we'll prepare, because that takes a lot less prep work. And Venture Bros is a pretty long show, so we'll want to watch like a good amount of episodes per
That'll
season.
Probably be what we do. Yeah, we'll probably do, like, I think pilot next, because like I think pilots are a good buffer between like our gimmick stuff. Yeah. So I think like a pilot next, and that way we can like get in contact with the guests, get everything planned, and also have time to watch the show. Yeah. Realistically, we don't need to fucking rewatch that show.
That is true. I'm gonna watch like a few episodes here and there per season, like normal, but like I'm not gonna be like, oh, I watched the premieres, I watched the finale. I do kind of,
guys.
There's a couple finales that are really good though.
I will be watching the finales, and I will also, guys, warning. The Monarch is a closeted trans woman series. They're coming, baby.
Yeah.
They're coming, and they're coming hard.
Oh yeah. But all right, so that'll do it. Next episode up is the pilot pile up. So join us next time. We're gonna talk about some more pilots that I don't even know which ones we're talking about.
Yeah, we got no clue, guys. We'll find out when you find out.
Yeah.
See you next time.
See you there.
Box just came in screaming as I ended. I don't know if it picked up, but she was like.